Good evening, everybody. It is Patry here at Edgewood Family Farm, and you are joining me in a very different part of the farm. We're in my basement. It's not quite as aesthetically pleasing as the other parts of the farm that you've seen, but there is a very important reason that we're down here, and that's because this is the beginning of my absolute favorite time of the year, my favorite season. Ladies and gentlemen, it is chick season. Now for us, chick season happens in two different parts, all right? Part number one is right here. These are our brooders. Now this year we're trying a couple of new ones. These two are brand new to us. They're a different style. They have a built-in humidifier, and I'll kind of go over a little bit here in a minute what exactly is going on. We've dried up on this one, so I'm actually gonna put some water in it while I'm down here. And of course I'm gonna spill a little bit of water while I'm at it, but I think the dogs hear me. they're upstairs, so of course they're making some noise. We always hatch out some of our own chicks while we're on the farm. So these are actually our eggs. They come from our hens. We have one rooster, so he covers all of our hens. And this is our first time using these two incubators here on the end. We have used Old Faithful here now, I think 4 times. I think we did 4 hatchings, 3 or 4 hatchings last season. So phase 1 for us is always going to be our own chicks. We always hatch them. We normally end up selling them, although this year at some point in time we're going to start our moss egger program. My goal is for us to breed some moss eggers. We have some Marin's hens, and we have a black copper Marin rooster, and we also have some Easter eggers. We have some blue and green egg layers. So I'm really excited for us to be able to do that. We've got, I think, 40 eggs in here. All of the ones that hatch will be going to our local farm swap. We have that at the beginning of March. We're also going to be expanding our egg layers though, and that is why I am traveling with you across the basement in order to show you our chick setup. So right now, we just have kind of a pile of stuff, and it's slightly wet stuff because it's all been cleaned. Now, I will tell you that I have enjoyed working with chickens, working with poultry in general, more than I ever thought that I would. So this is a big deal for us. This is really exciting. And if there's one thing that we're good at and that we know that we're good at, it's poultry. So I'm hoping that you will join us on this journey. There are a lot of things that I've said, everybody kind of has to figure out their own way to do it. Poultry is very, very similar. Okay, you're going to hear and see 27,000 different ways of raising poultry. I'm sharing the way that we do it. It's worked really, really well for us. We've been incredibly successful with our poultry. We have incredibly high rates of success, not only with our hatched eggs and our chicks that we hatch out here on the farm, but also with the eggs that we bring in. So tomorrow, our plan is, and you will come along with us, to go to our local farm store. It is Tractor Supply, and we will be picking up some new chicks to hopefully add to our egg layers. If we can get them here early February, well, mid-February, I guess, where we are right now, then hopefully they will start laying around July or August and can pick up towards the end of the season, because we have some of our ladies who are getting close to their 2nd and 3rd year of laying, and they're going to be slowing down a little bit. Now, that's to be expected. They're still going to be laying some, and we're still going to be keeping most of them around, but we do want to have some other chickens that we're bringing in. So we start, and I'm just gonna kind of give you a chicken 101 rundown, okay? our videos about our chicks are gonna be multiple parts. There's gonna be a lot of information. You're going to follow us from getting the chickens to putting them out into the field and then becoming egg layers. So hopefully the ones that you will see tomorrow, you will kind of get to follow through this season as we're raising them and see all the different parts that go into owning chicks. I know that right now with egg prices, there's a big emphasis on, and I've seen a lot of people talking about getting backyard chickens. I want you to know what exactly it is that you're getting yourself into, because while we were prepared, I don't think we were as prepared as we could have been. And there were definitely some things that we did wrong, and we ended up losing some of our pullets because we made some mistakes. Now we got really lucky. Mistakes that we made were solvable. We were not prepared for the fact that everything in the universe wants to kill your chickens. So unfortunately, our early coops were not very predator safe. We've changed our system. We still do lose some chickens. We have raccoons, we have possums, we have mink, we have raccoons. Did I say raccoons? If I said raccoons, I'm gonna say them 2 or 3 more times because they're the biggest absolute assholes of the animal, like, destroying your flock world. They wiped out half of our flock early on in our chicken adventure. We also have coyotes, we have foxes. We lost 2 chickens to a fox actually about 3 months ago. So unfortunately, we still do have some issues, but I think that's just part of living on a farm. So step 1, you need somewhere to put your chicks. My recommendation is something metal, okay? I see a lot of people putting their chicks in plastic containers, and while I think that that's okay short term, because you are going to be adding heat to your brooder, your chickens have to be kept warm, whether it is from a lamp, which is what we use, and I know is controversial, but I'll talk about that in a minute, or you're using a brooder plate, you're going to be adding heat to your incubator, or to your brooder. And because you're adding heat, heating up that plastic just concerns me. I know a lot of people that have success. Again, this is one of those things where you find what works for you, but we ended up investing in this tub. It is basically a water tank. We got it, again, at our local farm store, and it is big enough that we can hold quite a good number of chickens in here. And not only does it have enough space that they can cool off if they need to, because if your brooder is too small and all of your space is heated by your heat lamp or your brooder plate, you're gonna end up with a lot of hot chickens, and that's not good for them. Obviously, you've got your brooder. All right, you've picked your container. Now they do sell these kind of starter brooder kits at a lot of the farm stores. They contain kind of a wooden box, and wooden or plastic. Get the wooden one if you can. And they contain a feeder, a water, all the basic stuff that you need to kind of start your chickens. It's a good 101 kit when you're just getting started, and it's great if you're doing 5 to 10 chicks. But it's a pretty small brooder, so if you're starting with more, or if you're gonna be hatching your own eggs like we do, go on ahead and invest in a bigger space for your chickens. I can put 5 chicks in there, I can put 50 in there. They're gonna be safe, they're gonna be healthy, they're gonna be pretty happy. And because it's higher on the sides, I can keep them in there a little while longer, all right? Which is gonna be really, really beneficial, because after they move from up here in our basement, they go down to the barn, not as heat controlled, all right? Next step, all right, number 2 thing that you're gonna buy is going to be your feeder. This is the standard feeder that I use. You can get a lot of different styles. You literally just put the food into this little red tray down here, close the lid, and they stick their little chicken heads through these little holes, and they get out their food. It works perfectly for us. I've found less waste with this one than some of the other ones, But you know what? Feed waste is going to be an issue with your chicks. They're learning how to eat. They're figuring everything out. It is what it is. Then you're going to want to get a waterer. We use, as I'm making a mess and throwing things around, we use one of these 2-part waterers. You fill up this plastic container with water, you put it in the green base, and you've got water. Now, the only problem is I see a lot of people sometimes, especially if they're doing large number of chicks, they'll want to do an open container, or they'll want to do like a dish. They'll want to do kind of a dish or a pan, or sometimes they'll want to do something bigger. Now, this is dirty, so please don't judge me. Oh. And apparently it had a tennis ball somewhere around it because I just hit myself with a tennis ball. But this is actually a feeder. But some people want to do them this size. You need to understand that your chicks can drown, and they can drown in very little water. So be careful. One of the things that you can do, if your chicks are really small and you have anybody that's struggling, even though this is shallow, if they're really unsteady on their feet, they're a day or 2 old, you can put some stones or some marbles, something bigger, and there's no way to make that gesture and not do something rude. Something round and big in here. So it kind of displaces some of the water, and it gives them enough water to drink, but they can't fall into it and they can't drown. You're also going to need a bag of chick starter grower. Chicks eat a lot of food, okay? When we have anywhere from 15 to 20 chicks in our brooder, they will go through at least 1 bag of food and a 50-pound bag of food before we get them outside. So they eat pretty well. Sometimes they'll go through even more than that. I don't know exactly how many we're going to end up with tomorrow, but we contacted our local feed guy. He got a couple of bags in for us. So we're going to start out with those and see where we go from there. So we're gonna get a bag of feed. You're also gonna wanna get a bag of pine chips, okay? Or pine flakes. We generally go with the flake bedding. It is easy, it is very inexpensive. Last thing, okay? Then I'll stop talking and hopefully soon I will show you adorable chickens. All right, I told you it was gonna be controversial. All right, I'm warning you now. We use a heat lamp. I know that these have gone out of style. I am fully aware of that. These are really cheap, okay? They're very accessible. We've never had any issues, and I even had one fall into the coop last season, and it did burn a very small amount of the bedding. It did not injure any chicks. It did not start any fires. Obviously, we make sure that the cage is on and intact. That's one of the reasons that these wire things are there, so that if your lamp does fall, it does not actually touch anything. All right, we feel very comfortable using these lights. When we've used brooder plates in the When we've used brooder plates in the past, we have not been very successful. They've been a lot messier. They have been a lot harder for the chicks to use. We had some that would kind of get stuck underneath the brooder plate and would get very hot. They would pant. Yes, chickens will actually pant. They'll open their beaks and they will pant when they get hot. Our girls do that some during the summer when it's, 90 degrees outside. So we switched. We don't use brooder plates anymore, but everything is ready to go for tomorrow. We have cleaned everything down. We've sprayed it down with some diluted bleach water. So this is our best friend. We keep bleach on hand for pretty much everything. We use it on our shoes right now. And because we have pretty much a closed flock, okay? We do not bring adult birds into our flock. We only bring in chicks, and they always stay in our basement for at least, honestly, normally it's about 4 to 6 weeks, until they're pretty much feathered out, until they're able to escape the brooder, and then we get them out to the grow out pen. But Now it is even more important with avian influenza, with some of the illnesses and things like that. If you're bringing chickens in from a store, if you're bringing them in from a farm swap, if you're bringing in full-grown hens, please, please quarantine them. That is basically what we are doing here. We are quarantining our chicks down here in the basement. Also, it's like 10 degrees outside and there's snow on the ground, so we're not sending any chicks outside. But it also gives us a chance to just assess them for safety and for health. So if you're deciding that you want to raise chicks and you want to raise chickens and you already have an established flock and are trying to kind of figure out how to bring chickens in, creating this kind of separation, even if you don't have a basement, try to create some kind of physical separation and make sure that you are practicing good biosecurity habits, all right? If you're going to be going from your inside chicks to go take care of your outside chickens, wash your hands, spray a little bit of diluted bleach on your shoes, or switch out your shoes. We have outdoor and indoor shoes, partially because we have cats, we have indoor dogs. We have very loud indoor dogs. That's Odin. You haven't met him yet. You will. He's weird. He's awesome. But we don't want anybody to get sick. Whatever your feelings are about avian influenza, whatever your feelings are about what's going on with chicken farms and things like that, it is important to keep your flock, your farm, your family, and your animals healthy and safe and happy. I'm gonna shut up. I've been talking for way too long. You all are bored. I'm bored with myself. I don't blame you one bit. I'm going upstairs. It's bedtime. I have to get well rested because I'm gonna go get some chickens tomorrow. I will see you all a little bit later. Okay, good morning. It is early. I'm not adequately caffeinated yet. We're gonna go get some chickens. Come with us. Well, I'm back home and we are chickenless. Unfortunately, when Tractor Supply was telling people that chickens were coming in on the 17th, they forgot about the fact that it's President's Day, so they are not getting mail. Unfortunately, that doesn't bode well for the chickens and their safety. So either way, doesn't really matter. It's farming. There's no such thing as consistency. We talked about chickens and we totally struck out. We went to go get chicks. I'm a little bit behind the time because we've had these guys for about a week, but we finally have our chicks. We ended up getting black sex links and silver Wyandottes. So they are chilling. See? They're hanging out in the brooder. They seem to be doing really, really well. Unfortunately, we did lose a couple of them. We are chalking that up to the fact that it has been very, very cold, and when they were shipped, they probably were shipped on a day that it just wasn't super safe for them, and chicks can't always handle that transition in temperatures very well. They don't do well in super cold weather. So we did lose 3, but we got really lucky. We have 17 left. We also have our incubators over here. And these guys are getting ready to hatch this week. On Friday, they're going to be coming out. We don't know what our fertility rates are. We've candled a couple of eggs. We don't normally candle all of them, and they're definitely lower than they were last year, which makes sense. It's very early in the season. Our rooster is a little bit older. I'll be happy if we have a 40 to 50% fertilization rate, to be completely honest, but we've decided that we're going to be keeping all of these eggs just to kind of bulk up our numbers, and because we really need another rooster. And we love the rooster that we have. His name is George. He is wonderful. And one of these roosters will be his offspring because he's the only rooster that we have. But this way we can have several roosters and we can really pick the one that has the temperament that we want. We've had a lot of trouble with roosters. So it's really nice that we're gonna be able to pick and we're gonna be able to get to decide. So that's where we are. That's our chicken update. And I will be filming on Friday when these bad boys hatch. So you will get to kind of see what that process looks like for us and how we handle having some brand new baby chicks. See you then.